Hey, Pastor Josh here. We're reading Genesis chapter 31, verses 45 through 55. Now we see the agreement that Laban and Jacob make together. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. And Jacob said to his kinsmen, "Gather stones." And they took stones and made a heap. And they ate there by the heap. I want you to pay attention to who gathered the stones, who gathered this big old monumental heap. Jacob took one stone, and then he called all of his other kinsmen to gather it. So it's everybody together is putting this up, and they make a heap. They end up naming this a heap of witnesses. And the different words that they use to name this, that's what it means. There's this heap of witnesses. All of these little stones are coming together to be a witness between the people of Laban and the people of Jacob. Laban called it Jegar Sahaduth, but Jacob called it Galeed, both meaning heap of witnesses. Laban said, "This heap is a witness between you and me today." So this heap here, it's witnessing. Therefore he named it Galeed and Mizpah, for he said, "The Lord watch between you and me when we are out of one another's sight." And that's an attitude we need to have. God is always watching over us, both for good, which is not the context of this one, to take care of us, but then also to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do, almost like a security camera. And so that's what Laban is saying. The Lord watch between you and me when we're out of each other's sight to make sure that we are only doing what is right and good. Verse 50, "If you oppress my daughters, or if you take wives besides my daughters, although no one is with us, see, God is witness between you and me." God's going to see if you do anything wrong. Now, what is odd is that it's not Jacob who has oppressed his daughters. It's actually Laban himself. The daughters even told, Leah and Rachel told Jacob, we're like foreigners. We don't even feel like we belong here anymore with our dad. And so Laban just does not realize. He is so deluded. He is so confused. He does not have a grasp on what is real and what is reality. Verse 51, "Then Laban said to Jacob, 'See this heap and the pillar which I have set between you and me.'" Remember I told you at the beginning who actually put together the heap? The heap of stones, remember? Jacob took one stone, and then he had everybody else, which I would assume would be his own servants, and then also those of Laban's. They're putting it there, and Laban is saying, "I have set this between you and me. It's not you. It's not everybody else who's here. I've done it." And this is just classic Laban. He is taking credit for things that he has not done. Remember, he even did that when Jacob is saying, you really didn't take good care of me. It's been a real chore to work with you and work for you. You've not been a good father-in-law, basically is kind of what he's saying. And then Laban says, "All of these things are mine." And again, he's taking credit for even setting up this witness heap. This heap is a witness, and the pillar is a witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and you will not pass over this heap and this pillar to me to do harm. We're not going to pass it to harm each other anymore. We're going to leave good. First Jacob was running off because he was fearful for his life. Now there's a firm covenant. There's a firm agreement between Laban and the people of Israel. Verse 53, "The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us." So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Now, remember, Nahor is going to be, would be Abraham's father. Or I think that's right. Anyway, it might be his grandfather. I should have looked that up beforehand. But they're going to trace. Oh, they're brothers. Abraham and Nahor are brothers, and so they are. Nahor is going to be what is who Laban and everybody else is from. Abraham is obviously from. He's the one that has Isaac, and then Jacob. So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac, and Jacob offered a sacrifice, a good example. He's offering a sacrifice of worship to the Lord, and then also it's something that later on the scripture would call a fellowship offering, a fellowship sacrifice, one that they would sacrifice to the Lord, and then they would eat of it together. So they offered a sacrifice in the hill country, called his kinsmen to eat bread. They ate bread and spent the night in the hill country. So you notice that this agreement is accompanied with feasting, with eating. So they make the agreement and then they eat together, a sign of connection. That's the same thing we do when we take the Lord's Supper together. It's a symbolic expression of us being united together as one family. Verse 55, early in the morning, Laban arose and kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them. He should have blessed them right when they were actually living with him, like with physical blessings, instead of always trying to take things for himself. Then Laban departed and returned home. Pray that's been a blessing to you. See you on the next video.